Salve a tutti, sono Amarok e benvenuti in un nuovo video. Oggi siamo qui per fare un'intervista ad Andreas Sedlund, famoso per essere cantante e polistrumentista del progetto Vintersorg, oltre che per aver fatto parte di band come i Borknagar e anche per progetti come i Cronian, i Fission, i Dimblid, gli Otig, i Waterclimb, i Gravisphere e gli Aramdaud. Prima di iniziare lo ringrazio per la sua disponibilità, per aver accettato di essere qui oggi, vi lascio l'intervista e vi auguro buona visione. Nice to meet you, thank you for here today.
Oh, hi.
Why you started to do music, why you started to do with metal music. Tell me about the beginning of your career and your influences.
Oh, that's a big one. I've been into music since I was like, oh, 4, 5, 6 years old, something like that. So I've always been very interesting and yeah, I should say like this more like I've always been a kind of a creative person. I did a lot of different stuff when I was a young kid. Music was one of to express my creativity, and music was very nice source to get that output. So from the beginning, I played a lot of different kinds of stuff, just trying stuff out, stuff like that. Of course, did some playing some covers and stuff like that when I was a little bit older, I guess. But so I guess it was like when I was maybe 10, 11, I was more leaning into starting a band and that kind of stuff. So I guess from that point in time, I was more focused on doing something a little bit more serious than just fooling around. But still, I also had a lot of other different creative outputs. But so I very hard to say just a specific point that why did I choose metal? I mean, I grew up in I'm born in the early 70s. I grew up in the 80s, a lot of heavy metal and stuff like that. Of course, I was yeah, very interested in that, influenced by that. But also I have always have this kind of uh, feeling for a kind of folk music and stuff like that. So throughout the ages, got more and more clear what I wanted to do. But I played in tons of bands when I was younger, everything from rock and roll band to really harsh black metal to really, I mean, very kind of abusive death metal. So I've been all over the place, I think. So I guess it came to a point when I was doing a little bit more serious, studying, playing with other, yeah, friends and bands, stuff like that. So uh, why I choose it, it's very hard. I think for me it was just a natural process. I didn't did so much of the steering myself. I guess I was just feeling very creative. The music was a really nice output for that. So I guess that's at least how I interpret it. But hasn't been so much kind of a calculation. It's been a very natural process. So I guess that's the really short story of it. And yeah, of course, when then you get older, you start to kind of form your own visions a little bit more. And if I then skip into kind of Vintersorg era, came out of another band that we had that yeah, wrote a lot of songs. It was kind of a more kind of folk touch, black metal elements, a little bit folk elements. Did a lot of kind of clean vocals, and this was kind of back in, yeah, very early 90s. And that was not really that many people did that back then. Acoustic guitars, very harsh guitars at parts. So and that band didn't really make it anywhere. So I just when the band kind of ended, I just yeah, I just thought that I would take those songs and try to record it, and yeah, I did that, and that was kind of that was kind of the origin of Vintersorg actually, and recorded the first EP, and from that, I guess with that EP, kind of formed the kind of the formate that was a little bit of kind of a formation of the band and the framing how I wanted to express myself at that point in time. But I also played in other bands, so it's yeah, music has been a very great creative output. So a lot of different stuff has been done. And then also further on, I joined Borknagar as a really cool endeavor as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit all over the place here, but that's kind of when I just go through the story from the beginning to up until now. Well, it has been a really nice journey. It's been a lot of different kind of segments of different type of music. Still, Vintersorg has always been kind of very close to my heart, and that's kind of who I am in a way. And also, Vintersorg has had different kind of eras with a little bit different kind of leaning towards different kind of musical kind of framing. But I guess where we are right now, it's coming a little bit coming back to the earlier era, and yeah. And now we have a new album coming up, so really nice.
Let's talk about this new Vintersorg album.
It's it, what should I say? It has been completed, recorded, and everything, and now it's into kind of more of the producing the actual pieces. It's the kind of a little bit the normal Vintersorg journey. It's a lot of different contrasts from the very harsh to the very soft to the very epic to the very kind of narrow, kind of intimate approach. It's kind of a little bit of a classic Vintersorg album, I would say, because it has this kind of little bit of kind of this elder Vintersorg era written all over it. Still, it's a little bit of new elements, but not that much proggy. It's more kind of very epic and really focusing on really big kind of chorus parts and stuff like that. So yeah, and I don't have the real exact release date at this point in time, but of course we wanted it to be out already. It's just taken us a very long time to finish it, but now everything it's out of my hands. We have delivered it, so now it's in kind of production, producing the actual pieces. So it's a bit hard to describe, I guess, but a lot of the Vintersorg trademarks are written all over it, and a lot of clean vocals, stuff like that. Yeah, we have some female vocals on one track as well. So yeah, a little bit of this and that. One thing also is it's the kind of the fourth album in the kind of element cycle that we have done. So this is the water element album, and then we are done with that kind of element cycle. We did three elements, and then we did Filfjells Part 2 as kind of a break off from that element cycle. But now we finished that with this album. So kind of closing one book and ready to open another one, I guess.
Let's talk about the story of Vintersorg, the born of the band, the evolution, album by album, from the beginning at now.
Yeah, as I was saying, in the first EP is kind of very simplistic in a way. A lot of layers though, but the song structure is very simplistic. Yeah, but it has this kind of really nice mixture of clean vocals, harsh vocals, black metal elements, and also a lot of acoustic parts. And that we just and that I mean when I then did the Till Fjälls, the first full length, just made that even more kind of upfront, all these kind of mixtures, this kind of different elements, the contrasts. I mean, it's already always been about a lot of contrasts. And that journey continued with on the second album, the Mike and Son album. Uh, a lot of, I mean, that was a little bit less harsh, I guess, than Till Fjälls. It's even more kind of epic, even more kind of clean vocals, and yeah. And then after that one, yeah, I wrote another album in that kind of sense. But I mean, for me, as a musician, as a vocalist, producer, everything, I always like to challenge myself. So after the Mike and Son, I wrote another album in that kind of sense, and I felt then that I needed to take a little bit of a new route. I felt like I was kind of repeating a little bit myself. So therefore, we took a little bit of a different turn and recorded, yeah, and wrote and recorded the Cosmic Genesis. It was also switching a little bit. Yeah, we have some Swedish songs, but also switching language. Also switching a little bit of the lyrical themes. On the earlier, it's more kind of man, nature, kind of nature worshipping style. Also some historical parts, but on the Cosmic Genesis, that one ended up being a very more, yeah, as the title of it, like had this more kind of a cosmological approach. Still a lot of like man, nature, but kind of a more from a cosmological perspective in even the most yeah, the other most the largest questions of life and our existence in a way. Also had some kind of philosophical parts to it. That was really a nice challenge and felt really good to kind of made a little bit of a new path for Vintersorg back then. And dug even deeper into that more kind of philosophical philosophical kind of topics. Music-wise, also we turned a little bit more progressive, opened our minds even more to kind of, yeah, trying out new stuff. So the two following albums, the Focus and Blur, the Visions from the Spider Generate and Focus and Blur, are even, I mean, those albums are really proud of them. It's very different from a lot of the other albums. Really cool. We also had the opportunity there to work with Steve Giorgio and Asger Mikkelson. So it was a really nice musical journey that we had a lot of fun recording. I had a really lot of fun writing the songs and yeah, both music and lyrics. Really, I think it's really cool arrangements on those albums. So, but I guess we took that a little bit to the extreme with the Focusing Blur. And then again, I felt like it's a little bit time to do a little bit different. I was, I felt like, okay, now we are pushing it, not for the sake of pushing it, but we were really on the verge there. What I guess could be framed under the Vintersorg banner. So felt like, okay, it's a little bit time to move into something different. And very naturally, it felt to return a little bit to our more kind of folk vibes. Solens Rötter is kind of a transition album back to a little bit more kind of folk, yeah, kind of epic folk, not that progressive, even if that album has a kind of a really cool progressive song as well. But I really like that album. It's kind of a transition album, a little bit back to where we came from. And with that album, yeah, we did also lyrical themes changed a little bit, so took back a little bit from to the beginning. But also that album has a lot of kind of I was really into reading a lot of kind of alchemy stuff. So that album has a yeah, has a really good spot in my heart. And after that, I mean, then we went into this kind of the four elements, and we did Jordpuls, we did Orkan, and then we Naturbol, and then I don't know really why it happened. It just, as so many times in Vintersorg, I haven't really a really great plan. It's more just go by heart, feel what's natural. So after we done the third element, of course, we wanted to do the fourth, but I was so I don't know. It's very hard for me to recall why it happened, but I felt like Till Fjälls. I don't know. Hmm. Very hard to actually to think of it as a, why did we do Till Fjälls Part 2? Well, it just felt natural. So I was writing songs that had this really strong connection to Till Fjälls, and then I came to the conclusion it would be really nice to explore that kind of both the music, the lyrics, explore it, extend it a little bit more. So in a sense that for me that album is not kind of a copy of Till Fjälls. It's more kind of an extension of Till Fjälls. I mean the Till Fjälls Part 2. It's more kind of an extension album that we took a lot of this kind of feelings and elements from Till Fjälls and broadened it a bit, kind of tweaked it, looked upon it from a different angle. Yeah, that's very natural, and then we just did it. And after that, we had a lot of took a really long time for this new album. I guess it's like I think it's 8 years since the last one. It has been a lot of stuff happening in our lives, with family, work, and stuff like that. So it has been too long, of course. We should, of course, have been. It would be nice if we had come to this point earlier on. But yeah, I mean, life happens, and a lot of different stuff happened. So we didn't take a break, but was not I was not writing Vintersorg song that frequently, but I've been doing a lot of other bands during this time. So um, and now we are at the present time and with a new album coming up. So yeah, and also real nice Hammerheart. Yeah, we have shifted the record company from Naples to Hammerheart, and now the Hammerheart will also really release some of the old albums as a remaster. Since I've been working on that quite hard recently now also. So it's going to happen a lot in the Vintersorg camp further on here now.
Let's talk about your work with Borknagar, your experience with the band, album by album in that way, and why you leave the band in 2019.
Borknagar era of my life is something I really remember with a very, very warm heart. It was a really nice period. I knew Øystein a little bit before, so I got the opportunity to jump into that band and yeah, be a part of that and be a part also of the creative process for some albums, and that was really, really nice. I really loved to kind of do the vocals in that band. Uh, I guess we had a little quite same view upon life in the broader perspective, man, nature, stuff like that. So both music and lyric wise, Borknagar has always been very appealing to me. And when I got the opportunity, yeah, I was, whoa, that was really, really nice. And then we did some albums. I guess I was in the band nearly for, yeah, 19 years or something like that. Uh, the problem I had, why I came to the part when I left the band, that was just out of, I mean, Borknagar was trying to make a push to really being a more kind of a live act, doing a lot more touring. And at that point in time, I didn't have any possibility to do that. A lot of different work reasons and stuff like that. So I could do, yes, some gigs here and there, and that was kind of wasn't that really holding up. I mean, they wanted to go touring, and they have done a really, really great job the last, yeah, I guess 5 years, um, getting their name out there, doing a lot of touring and stuff like that. And I felt I couldn't hold them back just sitting. I wasn't able to do it, and I was the lead vocalist, so it was not fair to be me being a lead vocalist and don't even, I mean, do the live show. So it came to this very natural split up, and it was no bad blood or any bad feelings. So we had just a good discussion. It was mutual agreement. And yeah, and me and Øystein still have our other band, Cronian, still alive. But of course, we haven't done an album for many years, but we haven't closed that book. Not intentionally at least, but yeah, we haven't done an album for many years. But well, we'll see. Further on, hope we can have the time to do another album with Cronian.
Let's talk about Cronian.
I mean, how many albums? Was it 3 albums? I can't remember. Yeah, 3 albums. And we also had some songs for a kind of a fourth album. We didn't do any really work on those, but we had some fragments at least. No, but that concept was really nice. We were exploring kind of the I would never say it was a political stuff, but it was more like kind of man, nature, like taking it a little more edge that I mean how man is kind of polluting nature and stuff like that. But it was not kind of a Greenpeace album, and then in that kind of it's not political, but we took it a little bit more kind of an edge on yeah kind of an nowadays when you say environmental it's filled with politics, but that was not our intention. But we we had this kind of a little bit more kind of more environmental themes without being political. But it was really nice. We'd also explored music-wise. Of course, you can hear Borknagar, Vintersorg kind of vibes in there, but still, I think we managed to do something very unique with Cronian. The first album was really this kind of Arctic themes and the kind of Arctic aura around the whole album. The second and the third is a little bit different, of course, but yeah, it's very hard to describe the music for me personally, but it is those albums, yeah. It's been a long time since I listened to it now, but I remember last time I listened to it. Yeah, it feels kind of fresh and unique in a way. And I don't think that so many bands are going into that direction. So hopefully you can find the time to do another album further on.
If you want to be remembered for an album in your career, an album you're particularly proud, which is and why?
Oh, the ultimate question. As a musician, you are living. Well, I shouldn't talk for every musician. I can just talk for myself. But I try not to live in the past. So even if I like our past or older albums, I still feel that. And of course, the typical thing is to say, yeah, our newest album is the best album, the upcoming album. Uh, and of course, that's super cliche, but in a sense, I live that album right now. So that one is the most that occupies my mind. So I'm really, really proud what we have accomplished this time around, and it's going to be nice to let it out to see if yeah how other really take it in and can process it. And I think it's going to be some kind of classical song on this. If you then go into the future and looking back, I think this album will have some of that. So the boring answer is yeah, the new album, the upcoming album is the best album. But in a sense, I'm living in the present, and that one is most present in my yeah in my mind right now. And yeah, I've done so many albums with different type of bands, different style. I mean, I've done two Harmdowd albums, and now we have a third Harmdowd album is coming up further on here. Also done Dim Build. Yeah, I've been doing so much stuff and also recording now a new Dim Build album. So a lot of stuff is happening. So it's very hard to just pick one. It depends a little bit on the mood I'm in, I guess. But the new stuff, but I also like the old stuff. You see, I can't choose.
Your music project for 2025.
Vintersorg album, uh, Dim Build album, uh, Harmdowd album. There will be probably some more. And yeah, already recorded the future Vintersorg albums as well. So a lot of recording has been made, and but now we will. So yeah, I think now I'm coming to a really nice situation. My kids are a little bit older now; they are grown up, so I have more time to. They are more kind of independent, so I have more time to focus on writing, recording music. So And I've been very creative lately. So I've recorded several Vintersorg album actually. Uh, but we'll see. Maybe a lot of those could be altered and changed before they will come out. So, and also we have this kind of re-releases on Hammer Heart, remastering old Vintersorg albums, doing some box set of that. Also, actually, we are doing a remastering and box set for our from our very old folk rock band Otyg. It's going to be this kind of box with also all the 3 demos in it. So yeah, it's going to be a really nice one. So a lot of stuff will happen.
Your opinion, how many things have
Yeah.
changed in metal scene where you started from nowadays? And if you have an advice for who want to be a musician nowadays, how is difficult?
Oh, how everything have changed from I started to nowadays, I guess, in so many ways. The core is always there. I mean, you have kind of instrumentation, you have this kind of songwriting, and of course that could go on for a very, very long time. Uh, I guess the music scene, depending on what you are, how you frame the music scene, but in the metal scene, has been it's been much more kind of broadened in the way that it's much more acceptable to pick and choose blending styles and stuff like that. I mean, in the old days, you were kind of doing, yeah, much more narrow approach when you were if, if you played a black metal band, you played a black metal band. If you played a in death metal band, uh, I mean, it was more like, oh, this is very American death metal. This is kind of Swedish death metal. So it was no, uh, I wouldn't say no, but that was kind of that was kind of, you had this kind of much more kind of purity. You should go in that kind of lane. But I was a little bit in the black sheep there because Vintersorg blended a lot of different styles. And that is totally acceptable today, and that's real nice. It doesn't put any hindrance for people's creativity, and you can just, yeah, write and record what you like. And of course, you could always have done that, but it was, I mean, the crowd was much more picky when back in the day, I guess. Today, in a sense, it was easier uh, back in the days, but but also it's much easier today to be kind of a musician and record and stuff like that. I mean, when I was starting out, uh, you could not really afford go into a studio and do a lot of this really fancy demo. So we were doing this kind of very kind of homemade tapes. So in that sense, I mean, when the computers came into the recording arena, nowadays you can just build up your own studio, quite easy, quite cheap, and you can record stuff. And that's of course great. You can be very creative and you have this output. But also, in a sense, I mean, back in the days, you really needed to struggle to get your shit together and to make a kind of a demo tape, and that has also some, I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but it was also a nice thing. Yeah, I mean, you really needed to struggle to get anywhere. Of course, nowadays, I mean, the whole social media stuff, when you can publish your stuff in a much easier way, it's of course really nice. But also the competition of, I guess, is endless. There are thousands and thousands of bands trying to do the same thing, go out in the public and try to spread their word. And of course, that wasn't not really the same before, but also in the old days, it was really hard to get a record contract. Now you are your own record company whenever you like. So I guess it's good and the bad, both new and I really like present times. I mean, for me, I have my own studio at home. I can communicate with people from all over the world, spreading our music and directly from my phone, in a sense. So yeah, but I mean, I'm old now. I always have this kind of a little bit of a nostalgia of being in the rehearsal room, really struggling out many years before you could even record a demo. So, but it has changed a lot, a little bit. Yeah, I guess it's has both sides.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for today.
Yep.
Good luck for your project. Thank you. Bye.
Right. Bye.